My name is Mkpoikanke, lecturer in the Department of Counseling and Human Development Studies, University of Nigeria, Nsukka, currently a postdoc in the University of Johannesburg, South Africa. Thank you for having me present on the 19th International Conference on Sustainable Development 2024 holding at Sorbonne University, Paris, France. The title of my presentation is Mental Health Literacy for Sustainable Economic Development in Nigeria. This study was conducted by 3 researchers, Professor Sefothom Maximus from Johannesburg University, South Africa, and Dr. Ebizie from University of Nigeria, Nsukka, and myself. Mental health has to do with capacity to think, feel, and act in ways that enhance our ability to enjoy life and, of course, deal with challenges. So when we look at mental health from literature, we see 3 major domains. That's the cognitive domains, the emotive domains, and the behavioral domains. It is often noticed that when individual lacks the ability to think properly and, of course, maintain the right emotion and behavior, the person will equally lack the ability to coordinate life properly and deal with challenges of life. And oftentimes, that is when it is noticed that somebody have mental illness or mental issue. And in literature, there are various mental illnesses or disorders. Yeah, some literature call it mental disorders. And the common ones are things like depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder, eating disorder, and a good number of them. But this study emphasized or focused more on mental health literacy. And in reviewing literature, we discovered that mental health literacy has 3 main meanings. Number 1, ability to understand mental health disorders. And then 2, ability to recognize the symptoms of mental health disorders. And then the last dimension of mental health literacy is the ability to know how to seek for help. But this does not mean that these 3 dimensions of mental health literacy are separated. The proper and accurate mental health literacy actually comprise of these 3 dimensions. That means an individual is able to understand mental health disorders and then recognize various symptoms and know where to seek for help before that individual could be said to have mental health literacy. And there are huge benefits of this. The first benefit in literature is that it enhances productivity, fosters effective leadership, and also increase quality of decision making. So it could be said that when individual productivity is enhanced or has increased, the mental health literacy of the person has also increased. And of course, the reverse could be the case. But in the long run, this could affect the economic development, both at individual level and at a corporate level. So literature has pointed out that increase in the amount of goods and services produced in a country or produced in a community could be connected to mental health literacy that is being operated within that community. Of course, this needs to be verified further. In this study, we considered economic development to focus on improving fiscal policies, economic and social conditions of a nation. And of course, the result of this is that there is going to be employment opportunities, there is going to be increase in infrastructure, increase in technology, there is going to be global collaborations, there is going to be adequate adjustments to life when there is proper economic development. All right, this study was conducted in Nigeria. So from literature perspective, we looked at the context in Nigeria, and that formed the statement of the problem of this study. We found in literature that there is a widespread of mental disorders in Nigeria. Of course, up to 10% of population are said to be affected or to be having one mental health disorder or the other. And these has affected individuals, affected families, and affected societies. Literature has also shown that bad governance, corruption, poor economy that are currently being experienced in Nigeria could be attributed to high level of mental health disorders that are being experienced by the people. Based on this context, 3 objectives were formulated and 3 research questions were formulated to guide this study. Number 1 is to find out the perceived impact of mental health literacy on sustainable economic development in Nigeria. And that serves as the primary objective of this study. And of course, the secondary objective was to find out the various or how various stakeholders in Nigeria view the connection between mental health literacy and economic development. And lastly, this study found or identified challenges and opportunities that exist for the promotion of mental health literacy in Nigeria. 3 main theories supported this study. The first theory is social cognitive theory, and this emphasized the fact that mental health literacy can be promoted through education awareness campaigns and social support. Of course, this theory came from Albert Bandura, 1986. The second theory that supported this theory or this study is health belief model. And this emphasized the fact that mental health is shaped by personal and cultural belief systems. The last theory that supported this theory or this study is economic development theory. And the emphasis here was that when mental health literacy is enhanced, it can play a significant role in fostering economic development. Qualitative methodology was followed to conduct this study. In terms of data collection, we used semi-structured interview and focus group discussion. We had 20 participants, of course, categorizing into 4: policymakers, 5 in number, mental health experts, business executives, and community leaders. Of course, the combination of participants enable us to have a robust data and perspective in this study. We followed thematic analysis coding framework to analyze the data collected in this study. And of course, the 6 steps in thematic analysis was critically followed. The findings of this study presented 4 major themes. The first theme is the significance of mental health literacy. The participants of this study, from their experience, believe that increase in mental health literacy can enforce workforce or can enhance workforce and productivity. And of course, this may improve economic outcomes. The second theme generated in this study is obstacles to mental health literacy. The participants believe that stigma, insufficient resources, and cultural beliefs are the major obstacles to mental health literacy in Nigeria. Then the third theme that was generated in this study is the opportunities for advancement of mental health literacy. And the Participants believe that educational programs, mental health awareness initiatives, and policy reforms are the major opportunities for presenting or for promoting mental health literacy in Nigeria. Then the last theme that was generated in this study was the impact of mental health literacy on economic development. The researchers collectively expressed their opinion that boosting productivity, improving leadership capabilities, and alleviating stigma within the workforce is a product or a function of mental health literacy. Based on these findings, discussion in this study was made, and the discussion connects the findings with existing literatures, of course, to emphasize the wider context of the findings. These findings raise three major implications. Number one, implication is that policymakers should prioritize mental health literacy in economic development strategies. And this is very profound. When strategies are made for economic development, it is important to prioritize mental health literacy. The second implication of this study is that mental health practitioners should focus on stigma reduction and awareness initiatives. Then lastly, the implication of this study is that future research should develop effective mental health programs and awareness campaigns. Of course, this would help to promote mental health literacy across the nations. This study also had some limitations. Of course, the one that stood out clearly is the small sample size and the purposive sampling method. This could be said to have been biased because many people were not given opportunity to participate. And of course, this is because of the nature of the research. We conducted qualitative research. And again, it could be said that this study was confined to a single region. So future research should aim to overcome these limitations. In a way, we recommend that future research should think of using mixed method design to be able to collect both survey data and qualitative data, and this may help to expound the findings of this study. And as well, the future researchers should consider combining different regions or collecting data from different regions to compare and see whether it would still produce the same results. In conclusion, I would like to say that enhancing mental health literacy is vital if we are trying to promote sustainable economic development in Nigeria. Of course, the various challenges or obstacles to mental health literacy should be overcome for it to be, or for the benefits to be maximized. It is also important to note that we can embrace the opportunities that mental health literacy presents to enable the sustainability of economy in Nigeria and other developing countries. Thank you for the opportunity to present.